Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the post show for Sheffield Wednesday versus Stoke City. Oh, God. Like, we talk about tired after... Yeah. I'm as tired as the players were after that. That was mentally draining. That was a scrappy game, Punk, in my opinion.
That was very hard to watch. And ironically, the answer, can Stoke City do a Stoke City on a rainy night, on a Tuesday, on a Saturday? They can.
Well, no, actually, it was also the fact that we were playing like a Stoke City side from the Tony Pulis days, which is quite funny considering we've got Tony Pulis as our manager. But, we'll say, as of course, I'm Dexterity Box. This is the post show for Sheffield Wednesday Stoke. This is Punk Chef 41. Go subscribe to him if you haven't already. But we will be talking all the stuff about the match today. There's not a lot to talk about, so I can't imagine it's going to be a lengthy post show. Just so you're aware, we are pulling these straight away because we've had some issues with YouTube about keeping these up. They don't like the streaming software we're using. So if you're not watching live now, this will go down for a couple of hours and then get re-uploaded with a different thumbnail, things like that. But if you are one of the true supporters of this channel, please go to that video and like it because it doesn't do very as well because of that. So it would just be a case if you're watching the post show and you're involved, go like it again because somebody disliked this before it even started. So they clearly need a hug. So, let's get straight into it today. We'll start. This has become tradition on this post show, even though it's only like 3 shows in. I shut up for a little while and Punk, you tell me about what you just saw and how you feel.
What I just saw was just a ball fest. We are desperately needed some pace and some creativity, which isn't Barry Bannon. I tried to film a second half and I'm just quite tempted to put the first half clip in the place of the second half because there wasn't much really to talk about. It was a very dire game where I think the most of that game we got was right near the end with the Wildsmith save, and that was about it. And they had that kind of header. We didn't really offer anything. And you know something's not right when you sub your striker that you brought on to make a difference, and then you sub him off for a central midfielder to go play the striker. That kind of told you something isn't clicking. We desperately need goal scorer, but there's not a lot you can talk about that team. Yeah, we were solid. Yes, we played like a Stoke team, which is ironic. But this is what Tony Pulis does. And I think he's waiting to get that big, ugly striker who can win stuff and smash players out of the way. So he got that because Patterson up top on his own just wasn't working. It's really weird. We're missing the kind of player. I can't remember what his name is. Oh, Atty Newhugh. We need him back. He's the kind of.
We're going to keep banging that drum. Going to come around. I'll get a bloody tambourine for this post show. Yeah, with Atty Newhugh's face on it. And just start smashing it.
That's aggressive.
I know. I've been saying it. Not against the. I love Dai, but it's one of those things where it's like I've been saying it for a while. We've not got a plan B. I don't think a point at Stoke is very bad. In fairness, like this is one of those things that I don't think it's going to cause complete meltdown. They are top 10. They have been doing well this season. You know, and there is positives to take from that match. I don't think a point is bad, but I do think the way we broke them down from a Wednesday perspective, it was there for the taking. A lot of people in the chat were saying it was 1-0 either way, and I fully agree with that. That could have easily been 1-0 either way. So
we're missing a link. There's a link between a striker and midfield, or striker and striker that's not there yet. And I think this would have been actually the kind of game where Windass would have been really good at just that speed and just being able to have that kind of playing off each other. Like Patterson, and they've already got that kind of relationship. I just don't see where you're going to go and try and get someone in.
For me, I think that links with we need the strikers. It's Edward's comment here, drives me out, people jumping on the Barry Bannon thing. We did have a bit of that in the chat. I have seen it on Twitter for months now. There is a subsection of our fan base that, and don't get me wrong, some people I have very good conversations with about it and I respect their opinion. There is some people that hate on Bannon for hating on Bannon, but I am very much in the camp of Bannon is the one that makes things happen for us. And like, it's okay, Bannon misses this pass. Bannon, misjudges this scenario. The reason he's misjudging that.
When he's lost the ball, he's running to get it back.
Exactly. And also a case of the only reason if we're hearing so much Bannon's missed this, Bannon's missed that, is because he's the only bloody player making stuff happen. Yeah. So if he's the only player doing that, when he misses stuff, it's going to be noticeable because nobody else is actually taking the responsibility for it. Because let me be honest, right? Okay, there's a big thing, and it's not been mentioned in the chat yet, so I'm going to bring it up. Rhodes got subbed off when he got subbed on, right? And I said I thought there was 2 chances where Prime Rhodes, the ball from Bannon, really good through balls, he'd have been able to, especially the first one, where the ball came over the top, a Prime Rhodes would read that, flick it in front of him, round the keeper, and it's in. It's 1-0, and that, for me, shows that we did play to Rhodes' strengths in that, his old strengths, but clearly he just wasn't on it today. And what's your opinion on that one?
I think Rhodes is done. When we first signed him, I was like, yeah, great, we got him. But what got me, the Rhodes deal was always really interesting because we got Winnell in, and it seems like we've promised him to be, you're going to be the main man, you're the big guy, you're here for it. And then when you got Rhodes, it's like, oh, he's not the main man anymore. And Rhodes, don't get me wrong, Rhodes will probably go to another club now in our look, get 10, 20 goals a season, become that player again. It's typical Sheffield Wednesday look. But he's been here, 4 years now? Is it 4 years? So
you're probably around that, yeah.
It's 4 years and it's not really worked. And when he first came in, he had his dad here as well, so he had a little bit of family around him. And I get the feeling that even Rhodes is, even though you hear the interviews, I'm still confident, I'm still going for it. Even he got to deep down thinking maybe this isn't right. And even when he was at Norwich, he started well and then faded off. You might be looking at a Jordan Rhodes that needs to go play in League One because he'll rip that league apart. And
that's the thing.
Say that.
I know. I was thinking that because I was thinking, if we got relegated, we'd be crying out for a Jordan Rhodes style of player because there's more opportunities for him. But this league, I don't. So you see, there's the thing. So many people still think the Championship is all that physical league again, and there's a lot of that in Prem culture. That if you go down to the Championship, you have to play a physical stylist team. But so many teams now are actually playing technical football that it's kind of moved on. You've only got a few. There is still sides in the Championship that play that physical game, but they're usually the bottom half, and we've got Pulis now, so that's going to be us. But still, you see more technical people playing football, teams playing football, and we've done that bit of that. And I think with Rhodes, he needs to be in a side that's all about that physicality and can actually bully the way straight to him because he's a poacher. Rhodes is a poacher, but I don't think he's got the pace or I don't think he's got the instincts he used to have to snatch that goal. And that upsets me.
He's never been a ball-winning forward. He's he grabs. I mean, he's a hooper player. He's what Gary Hooper was for us when he was here. That kind of fix on graps, be able to get stuff.
But Gary Hooper was actually in a side, and I actually think Gary Hooper worked well for that time. And I even think, honestly, I just think we've got a past it Jordan Rhodes now. And that's really, I was not saying that even all the way up until this season. So I'm probably going to get some stick for that, by the way, because I was very much on Rhodes' side and in his camp. But what is he doing for us? And he's had a couple of starts now. It's going to take more. I know there's so many fans that want to see him given a run. Do you know what? I would be behind that. If they want to give him a run and start him, give him 5 matches or whatever, see what happens, judge him on that, fine. But for me, it was right for him to get subbed off today because he had the chances, the best chances, in my opinion, where he could have easily broken the defence. Bannon did his job. And I know John, I won't bring the comment up because it takes us down a different path, but I know John was mentioning that he's probably in the Bannon out brigade sort of thing. But for me, Bannon was making those chances and they were clear-cut chances for a prime striker to go and finish, but we didn't have that in Rhodes.
It's weird how positive we looked against Swansea and we looked good and then we go really negative at home. And normally it's the other way around. And let's just talk about the Swansea result. That's actually a very good result for us in terms of how they've been and how they've been playing. If you look at it, any other time we should be saying, a point against these 2 teams was a good result. But for us right now, it's nowhere good enough. We need to win. We need to go. We're still in this relegation scrap. And I hope Tony Pulis gets given something to spend in January or brings in some of these free agency because we need someone. we've gone from having like 5 or 6 strikers and being like, great, brilliant. But if he's not classing Patterson as a striker, you've got...
He's not though. That's the thing. In my opinion, I don't think he is.
I think he's gonna turn him into a bit of a wing back. Because
that'd be interesting.
He can do that defensive thing. Give more competition to that.
I don't think he'll do that though, because if I can just cut in here, because he did say in the midweek that he sees him as a midfield player and he sees him coming through and getting goals from the midfield. So I think he's what's annoying to me there though is I think he sees him as a cam, and if he sees him as a cam, that takes Brown's place. And I'm like, no, don't do that, because I think Brown's better than Patterson. So I'm very conflicted about this at the minute. I want to see us get results, and that's the issue I'm facing at the minute.
It's early days though. Well, I've already seen people like losing their crap about Pulis. Like Pulis hasn't even settled in Sheffield yet. It's early days. And if he's going to be here long term, you've got to give him a chance. But the thing is, we know what kind of players Tony Pulis likes to bring in. At this moment in time, these players are not what Tony Pulis wants. And if we're going to be honest, Tony Pulis knows how to dismantle a Gary Monk side. He's done it once before. So he knows what kind of players are there and what doesn't work. I think what was interesting is watching his comments during the week saying this is a working class city. It needs to be for the people, not for the players. And I think that's something that we haven't had in a while, where we've got a manager that gets it.
No, I get that side of it. For me, as a football fan and somebody who looks at technical football, I'm not excited. Oh, and that's I'm going to sound like a football brat there, and I get that, but like I'm just like, oh, for crap! I like watching good football. Like, because I was the Swansea first half, right? We didn't obviously do a post show in the midweek because we try and do one a week, but like the Swansea match for me, that first half, I was like, if this is going to be it, and we're going to be controlling the ball, then fair enough. But it's when you get that side of a Pulis side and you're like, oh, for God's sake, whereas, and I think it'll improve. I think it'll click and I think we'll get things in there and we'll start seeing the results and I'll be like, yes, come on. And then everybody's on a high. But for me, it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one on that one.
I think this season, you take our season this year, it's just got to be survive. Anything else is a bonus. And I can't, if anyone else thinks, we should be pushing for this, no, we just got to survive. At the moment, when you look at the clubs that are down in the relegation, the clubs that shouldn't be there, but they're down there for reasons. 2 of them, or 3 of them actually have manager change this year. So they're all waiting to see who can do what. So it's
officially, we're not at the bottom of the table though. So that's a plus, I guess.
Yeah, that is a good plus. To be fair, it's like when I saw that thing, I'm like, oh, Rooney's actually going to start being a manager now. That'll be fun. There's not a lot we can say about this game apart from it's a point and either team didn't really deserve it. I thought that save by Wildsmith at the end was fantastic. He looks a lot better and the defense actually look like they look up to him and be.
Yeah, I would love to see him go toe to toe with Westwood for that number 1 spot. Like, for me, that is great competition. For me, Dawson is not there. No. And I hate saying that, but I think you were right last post show and he's probably out the door January.
Yeah.
Either on a loan or something, because for me, Wildsmith is the more complete keeper at the minute. And OGM says clean sheet by Wildsmith. He did say that a little bit earlier on as well. Yeah, exactly. It is a clean sheet. And the thing is that if you look at the saves he had to make a couple and they were right. All it takes to go there. But neither keeper was challenged that much today.
I think Bannon had a shot which wasn't bad. I think Harris had that great shot in the first half which hit the post. I thought Harris was very good, but
I thought Harris was very good today. Actually.
The problem I've got with Harris is a little bit of a one-trick pony. Run, drop the shoulder, try and get past his man. And a lot of clubs last year figured that out. So
that's fine in a technical side, though. If you've got a side that's got different arrows to their bow, sort of thing, you can do that with Harris. And occasionally, when it comes off, it'll work. But you need everybody else doing their jobs around him. And that's the thing. If you're going to have a luxury player like that, and I don't mind seeing that. If Pulis is going to let Harris have that freedom, cool, because then you've got teams that you come up against with always that in the back of the head that right, okay, so these are doing that job. We've got Bannon playing the ball and making everything work through the midfield, but we've got to keep an eye on Harris because if Harris runs down that left, he could cause us issues. If the team are thinking about that and then they get dragged out of defence, then you introduce someone like Brown who can cut through the middle and you can destroy him, and bring Windass back and get that pace. It's all about having all those arrows to the bow, which we haven't got because of injuries and suspension. When we've got that, I can see what he's trying to do there with Harris giving that freedom again, because under Monk, it felt like Harris had completely retreated back into not going for things. When I first saw Harris, I was like, oh, thank God we've got a player that tries step over and does this again.
Pre-season at a Stotford Park Steel game, and granted, not going to use that as kind of the caveat Stotford Park Steels at the end of the day, but you look like he had a player. You look good. But the one thing, talking about that, like lacking deliveries, our deliveries are poor.
Yeah, they are. No, they are.
From anyone.
Everyone's the same, apart from Bannon with through balls, and that's where I'm going to hang my hat. Right? Okay, I think
Bannon, if he's playing PlayStation, he's pressing L1 and triangle constantly, and he's getting it right perfectly.
No, definitely. Well, I've just moved to Xbox because my PS5 is broken, so I've been pressing Y, unfortunately. But delivery with Harris, is it what you would call an inverted winger? He cuts in and he does the job of an inverted winger, I'd say, because when he first played for us, he was an out-and-out winger, but now he does look to cut inside and he comes through that inversion, So it'll be interesting to see how he ends up.
I'm very interested to see where Pulis goes in January, transfer-wise.
Who do you, I've been asked all day, right? I've been asked about 5 different times today who I want to see in January. Who do you want to see in January? Who realistically do you think we can bring in January to improve this?
This is the problem. I can't see who realistically wants to come for this dogfight unless you go lower league.
Yeah,
the only one that could be realistic, and you can shoot me for this one, or Gale did play for him at West Brom, and they have a relationship. There is already that relationship between Gale and Pulis. Pulis gets on with Steve Bruce. So if we don't have to have that bit where Chansiri's in the middle talking and saying how much he hates Steve Bruce, that might be a possibility. But
it could be. Would it be a loan? His contract's running out, isn't it?
His contract is up in summer.
Yeah,
it's got to be a loan with the idea to buy. But there can be so many clubs looking at him, which he'll see us and think, you know what? But manager change players. He had some of his best spells at West Brom when Pulis was manager. So there is that kind of caveat. And I've seen some people say, not going to happen. If a player already likes a manager, you're in for a winner. I think you're looking at some of the players that we've been linked with or players that we need. I don't see many of them turning around and said, I want to come and do relegation crap. This is the issue. No. I think you're going to see a lot of loan come in, maybe some young players or some journeymen that Pulis knows that can still do a job, which ideally you don't want, but at the moment, it might be all we can get.
For me, if it's Gale, it's got to be now. Yeah. You can't, because the thing is, we've waited for players. Like when people say we brought Fletcher in and we brought all those in, we waited too late in their career. And with Dwight Gale, let me have a look. He's 30 now, right? So I say you sign him, but you don't do for the... He'll probably want a Fletcher-type deal. Yeah. He's 30. So that's the thing. That's why if you sign him, you bring him in on a 2-year deal.
Yeah. I thought he was still like 27, 28.
No, he's not. He's getting on a bit now. In terms of football, 30's not old. Because when I get there, I'm going to be like, I'm not old.
I'm 33 now, and I'm going like 40. Not that old. I'm still young.
No, exactly. Well, no, exactly. That's why you become one of those old people that says, well, age is just in your head. I'm still 18 up here. And you're like, yeah, well, your knees don't move like they used to, do they, mate? John says Jordan Ayew. That's never going to happen.
That's never going to happen.
We've got to look realistically at what we could bring in here.
And I know another vlogger can hate me for this. There's a good lad at Fleetwood who's doing really well, like Harvey Saunders. He's 21, doing well. I
can't speak on that, but if you can tell me more.
Harvey Saunders, he's a cracking player, and every time I have a conversation about him with my mate, he's like, "You're not having him. Stay away from him." It's similar to us with Iorfa.
All right, okay. So he's kicking on, because that's the thing. I don't like League One. It gives me bad memories apart from the promotion. So it's like I don't really look. Is it Fleetwood in League One or 2? League One. Yeah.
They're looking like they're being not title, but going up there. They're looking really good.
It'll be interesting to see. No, that's a good insight. That is he a FIFA wonder kid as well? Because I can check him out. But no,
he's a 23-year-old forward. He got 6 goals in his last 3 outings.
No, it'd be interesting. It would be interesting to see. I know we can see. I would say it's Emily, but apparently it's somebody using his girlfriend's account. So I bring in Rudy Gestede, and then would play alongside well against Windass. I guess you got that. You've got that sort of target man and then the pacey man. It all depends on how you want to play, because if you're going to play with one up front, you need the height there. I can see a tall striker coming in. If he signs Andy Carroll, I'm going to jump out my window.
Oh, if he signs Andy Carroll, that's it. No,
exactly. But you want
if we can get Aaron back on the wing, that'd be good.
Yeah, jury's out on that one for me, because Harris plays very similar to Aaron's did.
Unless you're going to play on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. But then you've got I guess you do want some variance in your wingers as well. You probably want more of a delivery man. But then again, Aaron's could whip a cross in. So it'd be interesting to see how we do it. Captain Nat says Brentford did it with Tony. Yes, they did. But Brentford also almost got promoted last season. So that's why they did it. And then they looked out getting the best striker.
But if you look at Brentford and Peterborough are the model that always worked. They buy cheap and then buy cheap again. Like, if you look at some of the deals that have been done by Peterborough and Brentford between the clubs, it's like Peterborough gets them from non-league, gets them up into good quality player. Brentford take them from being good League One player to Championship players, and then they sell them on to Villa, like Watkins, and then he's the Premiership players. Their way they do things is completely different to how we do things. And if we could get that, that's fantastic. But it's the situation looking at him. I've seen people say Monk made the right mess of the squad, but you look at it, it's like it's a team that's trying to transition from one manager wanting what he wants and to a new manager wanting what he wants. And it's very early days. What's he been in 2 weeks now, technically, Pulis?
Yeah, no, to be honest, though, we can't overblow this, right? Because the thing is, for God's sake, if you're watching this, we are not saying this is a bad point today at all. Like, we're looking at where we can improve, and it's going to be a slog to improve. And also, what doesn't help is we'll to wrap up today, we'll look forward, and we got Reading, who have broken their bad run of form today with a 3-1 win against Bristol City today. So that's great.
When we faced and the goal.
Oh, for God, it's happening, isn't it? It's on the cards. And then we've got Reading and Norwich. So Norwich, let's just have a look. They drew against Coventry. No. Am I reading that? Yeah, and then we've got them on Saturday. So they're playing Luton in midweek. They could go in with a lot of confidence. But if they get a bad result against Luton, they're definitely beating us, because teams that are on bad runs always beat us. We know that for a fact. So we're just going to have to see how that one plays out. But I think it's going to be a rough week for us. I reckon we could be
either watching games like we've watched today and go, that's a good point, we've done really well there considering, or it's going to be, oh my God, how we lost by that many. But I don't see that with Tony Pulis. I think if we go into a game at half-time at 2-0 down, he's going to be shouting, he's going to be fireworks up them. I think you'll see a response.
Yeah.
There is one good positive, no red card in the 2 games.
No, it's been wonderful. We got one at Preston, obviously, but there's been no red card for a whole week.
Yeah, that's nice.
So yeah, I mean, I thought when Luongo did that tactical foul, I was like, he's not going to give him it. But I got a little bit worried.
I also thought Borna was going to get a little bit of with the referee, because some of the stuff he had today was a little bit on the line of what I thought the referee today was very whistle happy. He started a game that really didn't need it.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but he wasn't anywhere near as bad as we've had the rest of the season, so I'm not going to complain. Let's wrap up with we've got Reading, Norwich midweek. We'll be back for the Norwich match next Saturday as we broach December as well, so that'll be interesting. And then we've got Huddersfield and Barnsley, so we've got 2 Yorkshire fixtures the week after that.
Time to play them, actually.
It's going to be interesting. It is definitely going to be an interesting couple of weeks, but Jordan's super chatted £5, said good stuff, guys. Thank you very much. I've recouped my match pass. Well, YouTube gets their cut, but I've kind of recouped my match pass today, so that's decent. So thank you very much for that. As I said, this will go down after this and then get uploaded again. I will see you next week for Norwich. Go subscribe to Punk Chef 41, who
I'll be
does
doing
all
the midweek game if you want to see the preview and the review for my sins. Hopefully,
Exactly.
I won't fall asleep because it's a late game, and when the late games, I'm already very tired. So if it's like this, I might just be asleep at my desk.
The part of the reason I don't do him is because everyone's nodding off. We're all too drunk by then. So anyway, thank you all so much for joining this week. I definitely want my Domino's, as OGM says. I'm going to go and eat pizza and cry that my PS5 is still broken. And yes, I will say it. I had it for a week. And now I've got to wait like 4 weeks to get that back. But thank you all so much for your support. I'll see you on the next stream.
See you later.
Any last comments, Punk? No, cool. We good?
No, that's it. Yep.
Amazing. Have a good one, guys. Take care. See you in a bit.